In this video, we're going to go over everything you need to know in how to use your 35mm film camera. How to use your camera, how to set the exposure, how to set the focus, and how to load and unload your film. The main things you're going to be looking for is to make sure that there's not too much mold or any mold in the lens of the camera. You want to also look that it opens up fine. You want to make sure that you can pull back this lever here, and that when you press the shutter button, this opens up and works. Those are the main things that you're looking for to see if a camera is working. You're going to need to buy film. Here I have some 400 Ultramax, not my favorite film stock, but this will do the trick. Okay. First thing when you're loading the camera is you're going to lift up this portion right here. Flip this up, lift this here, and then you're going to place the film stock in here, just like this. Press this down so it's inside like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get this film into this over here. The cameras are going to be slightly different depending on the model that you have, but all of them pretty much operate like this, where you put the film on this side and then you load the film into the other side over here. For my camera, I stick this in here like this, and then I will put it forward a bit and let off a shot, make another one go like this, and you have your camera loaded. Next thing I'll do is I'll close the back. And if you see on the top over here, I have a film counter. This tells me how many shots I have. Usually you have 36 or 24, and each time you pull the lever, it'll show where you're at and how many shots you've taken. And you just need to pay attention. One mistake that people often make at the beginning is when they get close to the end, when they're near at 35 or 23 out of their 24 or 36, they'll pull it too hard and they'll pull out the film from the film roll. So make sure that once you feel resistance, you don't continue to pull and you get ready to undo the thing. Next, we're going to talk about exposure with the camera. There are three things that determine exposure. We have our aperture or f-stop, we have our shutter speed, and we have the film stock that we put into the camera. With the aperture, that's usually going to be on the lens. We can move this. This is the focus portion, and then the next part of it on the lens will be where we set our aperture. The lower it's going to be, the brighter your image will be. The higher it's going to be, the darker the image is going to be. This affects your image by it changes the depth of field, how much is in focus. If you want to separate your subject from the background and blur out the rest of the frame, you're going to want a low shutter speed. My camera goes to 2.5, a lot of other lenses go to 1.8. The lower you go, the shallower the depth of field of what's in focus will be. And the opposite, let's say you want multiple layers and all the subjects in your shot in focus. You're going to want a higher shutter speed, or a higher f-stop, like 8 or higher. Next, we have our shutter speed. Okay, so the higher it goes, the darker it will be. The lower it goes, the lower or the brighter it will be. Next, we have our shutter speed. The higher you go, the darker it will be, and the lower you go, the brighter it will be. This affects motion blur. The lower the image is, the brighter it is, the more motion blur you're going to capture. You're going to see the movement throughout the frame. There's a lot of stylistic, fun things you can do by setting a low shutter speed. But if it's too low, any shot you take is going to start blurring. So you don't want to go less than what your lens is. So I have a 35. I try not to go lower than shutter speed, 30th of a second. If you have a 50mm, don't go lower than 60 or 50, and so on. Next, you have the film stock, and the film stock is what we buy with our camera, and the higher the number is, the brighter image is going to be, but the more grain there will be. And depending on your shooting conditions, you're going to have to choose one that's either 100, 200, 400, or 800, and sometimes you can get even more expensive ones that go all the way to 1600 for night photography. Lastly, to remove the film, you're going to press this button on the bottom, then you're going to lift up this lever right over here, and then you're going to spin it around until you hear a click, and then there won't be any tension anymore. It'll loosely go around. That's when you know that your lens, or your film stock rather, is fully rolled back up, and then you can open it the way that you opened it to put it in to begin with. There's a lever in the bottom here. You open that, you can take your film stock out and bring it to your nearest film developing store, and they will film it and scan it for you. And that is pretty much all you need to know as far as the basics.